Good afternoon, Phillies fans, and welcome back to the Fighting Final here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network. Boy, Matty B today on the call, and the Phillies somehow found a way, salvaged the road trip. They get the win today, 2-1. Take the series against the Braves, their 18th series win of this season. Ranger Suarez comes back out and pitches dominantly. Let's give credit where credit is due. They did enough offensively, thanks to Otto Kemp, and they find themselves 2-1 winners today. 49-34 now on this I can't call it a young season anymore as we are officially into the second half. And it's great to be back with you here on this Sunday afternoon, a special day here on the Fighting Final, because every Sunday we also do our Down on the Phillies Farm Report. We'll check in on the minor leagues as this season has worn on, folks. We can no longer say it's early. That's no longer an applicable phrase about the 2025 season, as we are 3 games now into the second half, and the Phillies 2-1 winners today, salvage the road trip, take the series win, and now they'll go home and play the Padres and Reds over the next week or so as we get ready for July baseball. And that's bittersweet for me because I love the summer and I love baseball, but I don't like the fact that we're already into the second half. But Joe Howell checks in. Joe, what's going on? Great win today. Absolutely. Based on what has been the trend all week long when it comes to no offense and not being able to move runners along. Well, that's not been a trend this week, but that's obviously been a trend all week with not being able to score runs. The one constant but the Phillies all season has been that damn starting pitching. And today, carried yet again by Ranger Suarez, as now his name goes to the top of my list with potential trade deadline targets, as we got to figure out the offense, guys, right? We got to figure that out. I don't know how much you can rely on the rotation to go through the rest of this regular season, as dominant as they've been and as consistent as they have been. How much can you rely on the starting rotation to continue to pitch this way through the rest of the summer and then be spry and rested for the postseason? We got to find a way to score more runs. I don't know if you can do it at the trade deadline. I don't trust Dave Dombrowski to do that at the trade deadline. He has yet to prove his worth as a in-season GM, or he's not GM, but president of whatever he is, president of the world, whatever the title he has. He has yet to prove his worth in-season trade deadline moves. And Ranger Suarez with free agency pending, he's an attractive target, but here's also the problem with that. You're going to trade Ranger to a playoff contender. And not that I'm worried about that. It's what's a playoff contender giving you in return for Ranger Suarez? They still want to stay in the race. So you're not going to be able to gut out their team for a starting pitcher. So, but outstanding. Another outstanding performance by a Philly starting pitcher today in Ranger Suarez. 7 innings, under 100 pitches, and he gets the win. Mike Papernick checks in and says, good win. Yeah, indeed. The runners in scoring position average may be the second in baseball, but I promise you this team's ability to execute risk by opportunity percentage is nowhere near the second league. Steve, I'm not going to get deep into that, whatever the hell risk by opportunity percentage is. I don't have that much time on my hands. I know what baseball tells me, and I know what growing up in this sport and growing up and understanding what it takes to win a World Series and what it takes to be a champion. 256 or whatever the heck their total team average is right now with runners in scoring position is not good. You're right. I don't care if it's first in the league. That means other teams are struggling with moving runners along. I'm not going to rely on those other teams' struggles to sort of pump me up in my own abilities to drive runners in a scoring position. I maintain that if you're not batting at least 270 with runners in scoring position, if you're not a consistent 270 driving in runners in scoring position, you're not a World Series contender. And I don't really give a damn what the rest of the league is doing or not doing with their risk, because you can't rely on that to make you feel better about your deficiencies. This team has a problem offensively. It's nothing new. It's something that's been here for a while. We just chose to ignore it, or we just chose to try to wait and see if the 4th highest payroll in all of Major League Baseball would figure it out at the plate. They're struggling, absolutely struggling, with the exception of the 13-0 win on Friday night. This team has been putrid offensively for going on a week and a half now. I agree with you, Steve, 100%. I do not like the Strom pitching as a closer. I'd rather see Kirkering. To me, this bullpen with no roles and closer by committee does not work and has not worked or won a World Series under Robbie. But Robbie loves the matchups there. Michael Papernick, he loves the matchups. He's a matchup guy. He's a binder matchup guy. I agree with you. I mean, you're not going to, again, we're not unearthing new news here on this program at this particular point. The bullpen with no committee, no closer, or a closer by committee, bullpen, no roles. You're absolutely right. It's a foolhardy endeavor. I've said this over the last 2 seasons. As long as they do that, they're not going to win. They're not going to win a World Series. But you're right. Closer du jour does not work for me. A bullpen du jour does not work for me. I know there's a lot of belly aching going on about the bullpen at this current time, and it's not been good. I'll give you that. But I'm going to give you a counter to your bullpen has not been good take. What have we done? And I should say what have the Phillies done to support their bullpen? And what I mean by that is, who knows if we have a closer in this bullpen? Who knows that Kirkering can't do the job? He's never been given the opportunity to go out there and do the job consistently. He's never been given the ball and said, you're the closer. Prepare every day to be the closer. Prepare every night to be the closer. Go out in your daily routine with closer mentality. Develop all that, because come hell or high water, you are the goddamn closer. And same thing with setup guys. Same thing with 7th inning guys. Same thing with the 6th and then beyond, deeper or earlier in the games. What have the Phillies done to set up their bullpen or give their pitchers that opportunity to get comfortable and develop a rhythm to pitch? I've heard it somewhere, and please forgive me if I'm wrong. Baseball players are creatures of habit. Pitchers are uber creatures of habit. They like to know what they got to come up and face with every day. Starters get that opportunity. They have a daily routine in between starts to kind of work their way into the next start. A bullpen relief pitcher has the same type of routine if he knows what he's going to be doing on a day-to-day basis in terms of being prepared and getting ready to. It's as clear as the nose on everybody's face, for God's sakes. And I don't know why, one, we allow it to happen. Why do we allow this continued on? And yes, Phillies fans, I'm asking you, why are you allowing Rob Thompson to continue with this bullpen with no committee and no closer without a role? Well, why are we doing that? We should be the ones acting out the most immaturely about it. We should be the ones rebelling the hardest over this. It does not work. It has not worked, and it will not work. So and again, I'm not saying the bullpen is right. Of course I'm not. But do we actually really even know if they're right or not? No one's been given that opportunity to get comfortable down there. So I say you allow someone to try to get comfortable. Maybe game 84 or whatever this is of the season is not the time to do that. But who knows what we got in the bullpen? And I think that's the only thing we have not tried with the bullpen. They've had a lot of hits with men on second and have not actually scored. They only got the third. No. Is that what that means? Is that bullpen or is that risk by opportunity? Is that what that means? Okay. But I'm not going to get deep into that. They suck when it comes to driving runners in. They won today. Why am I feeling so negative? They've also failed to even have productive outs and sac flies as well. Yeah, but today, Otto Kemp, who has come out of nowhere in a lot of aspects, And again, I had that kind of pegged, but Otto Kemp solidifying his future place on this team, at least for this year. Big time double there. Spencer Strider was dealing as well. You got to give Spencer Strider that as well. But Kemp gets the double, and then they get the sac fly to score the run. To kind of knock things, to kind of, get the lead. Trey Turner, what a surprise. The most consistent hitter in our lineup finds a way to drive a run in. And, you're not going to score 8 runs a game. I'm not asking them to do that. But when you are so devoid of offense over a stretch of time, where there's smoke, there's fire. Mets getting swept in Pittsburgh. Yeah, I saw that. Mets are going down into the Pittsburgh Pirates. Phillies are on their way to a 1.5 lead in the NL East. Ranger had a good game. He did. And Sawers, when I look at the line here, 7 innings, 4 hits, a run. It was earned, a walk, 8 Ks. Was that the season high for him or tied a season high? They give up the 1 homer. But 96 pitches through 7 innings, yeah, it's a little elevated, but I can live there. I can live at 96 pitches in 7 innings. Absolutely. That means Ranger was effective and he was dealing and he had hitters off balance and he was getting calls and he was getting swings. All the things you want to see for a dominant effort that Suarez had today. And I shudder to think what this team would be without the starting rotation. I shudder to think where this season would be right now without the starting rotation. We would be maybe below 500 or right at 500 if it has not been for the stellar starting rotation of this team. But I caution everybody, it's June 29th. How much longer are we going to allow the starters in the rotation to bail us out of games? And how much longer can that be an effective means of approaching and attacking a baseball game? And when it comes to October, when these guys' arms are shot out, is that really what you want to go into the postseason relying on? Yes, pitching wins championships, but you got to help them out, man. You got to score at least 1 run a game or 2 runs or 3 runs a game that help them out. And I don't know, and that's my concern. Phillies have only 2 players with double-digit home runs, and Schwarber, 25, Turner, 11, unacceptable. And they finished the first half of the season as a team hitting only 83 home runs, down by 15 homers less than what they finished 2024's first half, and 26 less than how they finished 2024's second half. So a team that predicates itself and is built on power is not power anymore. And they've never been able to be small ball. They've never been able to be contact hitting. And now they're not hitting home runs. So yes, there's problems with the offense. We're not going to sit here and disagree there. How do you fix those problems? I don't know if it can be fixed in season during the season. That's what the off season's for, right, Dave Dombrowski? On the positive side, Kirkering having 2 strike sinkers really showed some growth there. However, he is lucky Ozuna didn't blast that hung second. Yeah, I saw that. He has been relying. Listen, Kirkering has closer stuff. He's got electric stuff. Even his fastballs have a lot of good movement. But you're right. He started to sort of rely a little bit on that sinker, on those off-speed pitches, maybe a little bit too much. He's got natural power pitches, and he seems to be like sort of gravitating towards the off-speed stuff. You're right. He got away with one there late with Ozuna. Is Kirkering the closer? Is he the closer on this team? And where is Jose Alvarado's replacement? How long are we just waiting for Alvarado to come back from his suspension? He can't pitch in the postseason, but where the hell is Jose Alvarado's replacement? When is that trade happening? The guy's been suspended now for about a month, and no movement has been made. No trades have been made to replace that arm in the bullpen. About to be up by 1.5 games. Yep, as the Mets are losing to the Pittsburgh Pirates today. Is it in Queens? Where's that game at? That game is in Pittsburgh. Oh, yeah. Well, it's over now. They have lost. The Mets are done. They've lost 12-1 to the Pirates. Phillies now have increased their lead in the NL East to 1.5 games as we get ready to host the Padres over the next 3 days. All right, back to this game, folks. Let's head over to the box score. Let's break this bad boy down. The Phillies, 2 runs on 7 hits, no errors. The Braves, 1 run on 6 hits, no errors. Offensive standouts, let's give it to where we got to give it to. There's 2 players that come to mind. I know it doesn't look that sexy in the score column. Kemp was 1 for 4, but he had the key double, the double that kind of tied this thing up. I'm going to give it to Kemp, even though Schwarber went 2 for 3 today. Castellanos went 2 for 4. I am going to give Otto Kemp the offensive standout of the day honors for his ability to try to solidify himself, to literally play himself onto this team and play himself into this team. Otto Kemp with a big late hit to tie the game, and then he ends up scoring the winning run a little bit later on. So Otto Kemp 1 for 4. Again, not the sexiest line. Castellanos was 2 for 4. Schwarber was also 2 for 3. But I'm going to give it to Kemp because it was the most meaningful line of the day for the Phillies. Offensively for the Braves, Matt Olson, 2 for 4. And Murphy, good God, this guy, 2 home runs now in 2 days. He was 1 for 4 with the homer and the RBI, accounting for all of the Atlanta Brave offense on the afternoon. Pitching-wise, Suarez, again, gets the win 7-2. 7 strong, effective, dominant innings, 4 hits, a run, it was earned, a walk on 8 Ks, a homer. Kirkering, gets the hold, and Strom, his 5th save of the year, and a shaky 9th inning. Let's face it, shaky. BCIB doesn't know where the ball is, back by the backstop. He's running around back there. But a shaky 9th inning, but Strom holds on, and the Phillies win. Spencer Strider, who had himself a day as well, also went 7 innings, gave up 5 hits on 2 runs, earned 3 walks and 4 strikeouts, 95 pitches through those 7 innings. Lee and Iglesias come in the losing effort for the Braves for the rest of the day. Murphy would get the scoring going for the Braves in that 2nd inning with a 451-foot bomb to dead center field of Truist Park to give the Braves a 1-0 lead. But then Otto Kemp in the 5th, the big fifth inning by the Phillies, doubles in, stopped, and tied up at 1, and then scores on the Turner sac fly, 2-1. And that's your final score from Atlanta, where the Phillies hang on to win 2-1. Take the season series, or take the series, not the season series, but the series from the Braves. Now 18 series wins for the Fighting Phillies on the 2025 year. Second, if there with no outs and high leverage with the meat of your lineup in is very disappointing and suspect. 100%. 100%. Steve, you're preaching to the proverbial choir here, man. Ozuna struck out 4 times today. What's this Phillies team going to do next season to hit home runs when Schwarber walks? Same thing they're doing right now. Nothing. Nothing. And of course, the apologists, or the homers out there will blame the Harper thing. Bryce Harper being hurt for the Phillies' lack of power. I don't buy it. This is a potent lineup. It was allegedly a potent lineup. A lot of money invested in this lineup. It's just not working, and it still looms out there like a specter of doom. What this offense cannot do on a consistent basis, and starting pitching has been amazing, 100%. But we're just not getting constant offense, and I don't see, or I shouldn't say constant, consistent offense. And if they can't figure that out, it's the same result of last season. I still don't think they're a World Series contending team because I don't like the bullpen with no roles. But when you factor in the offensive issues, I don't see them getting out of their own way in the first or second round of the playoffs. Something's got to be done, and I don't know the answer. And everyone keeps asking me, well, if you're so goddamn conflicted or controversial about this Phillies offense, and what's your plan to fix it? Well, my plan to fix it expired months ago when they didn't do nothing in the offseason. All right. I had a few interesting moves that I wanted to do. I wanted to bring in Urshela. I wanted to bring in Verdugo. I wanted to also bring in Alonso. I wanted to bring all those people here. They didn't do any of that. They actually didn't do anything in the offseason. I don't know what you do in season. And it's not Cedric Oldman Mullins, all right? And it's not Luis Robert Jr. That's not going to fix this team. That's not the spark that this engine needs. I don't know what the answer is. We need multiple bats. We need multiple pieces. I've said it before and over and over again. This team is structurally incomplete. No matter how you friggin' cut it, they've tried it in every possible way. The lineup doesn't fit together. It's just too many of the same type of players that are congealed together in a lineup. And when they can't all hit, they all don't hit. It's as simple as that. It's an improperly built lineup that I don't know how you fix it. I don't. And I don't know if you can in season. You can't. I'm going to tell you, you cannot in season without draining your minor league system and creating a massive overturn or overhaul during the year. You're just not going to be able to do it. I don't know what the answer is to fix this in season. I say in season because that's where we're at. Off season, we can look at that too, but that's an easier thing than easier nut to crack. But right now, it's about the 80 or 79, 77 games we have left, and then a postseason run. What are they going to do to fix this offense? And I'm so tired of hearing it is what it is. No, man, or it's what are the Homer? What does Homer D and Homer Dumb say? It's baseball. Get the hell out of here, man. A lot of things are baseball. Losing is baseball. But to sit back and just, yeah, it's baseball. It's baseball, everybody. Don't worry about it. Nothing to see here. It's baseball. All right? It's ridiculous. But I don't know the answer. I don't have a plan. Of course, against better pitching, we won't hit as well. But my goodness, can we ever hit a good pitcher anymore? It feels like forever. Listen, Steve, we can't hit against good pitching, and we can't hit against that pesky, undecided guy either. Phillies make everybody look better when it comes to pitching against us. It will depend on the situation, but I have a feeling Ranger and Painter are put in the pen. People won't agree with it, but it's very viable. Ranger's viable to go in the pen. Painter, I don't see why everyone's such in a hurry to bring him here. Painter's not really. I mean, he's finding his way in AAA. There's no rush on Andrew Painter. If Andrew Painter is your savior, and please Steve, take this for what it's worth. I don't know, man. I've gone to bed with better thoughts. Andrew Painter, what has he done? What has he shown you that he can perform at this level at all? And he's coming back from Tommy freaking John. Give him the year, man. Let's leave this kid alone. Let him toil down in Lehigh Valley, and let him have some fun down there. Let him figure things out. Let him be a pig, right? Let him be a pig at least for 2025. Let's rehash the Andrew Painter stuff in February down in Clearwater with the Phillies, right? But let's leave it be for now and let him be a pig. I don't see a reason to bring him up. I honestly don't. And as far as Ranger, I already told you, he might be the most attractive trade piece we have on this team right now. I just don't know what you're going to be able to do with that, because you're not trading him to the White Sox for the rest of the season. They're not taking him for a half or 2.5 months. You're going to have to trade him to a damn contender. And what are they going to give you back for him? I don't know what they do with the Ranger thing either. Glad to see Keaton Anthony back for Lehigh. I believe he's part of the hitting solution. Yeah, and we're going to get into the down on the farm thing, because the first half of the minor league season has completed. They're done. And for those of you, I'll give you a little minor league baseball knowledge, drop some minor league baseball knowledge on you. So the way they do it down in triple, double, single, to both levels of single A, not in the rookie leagues, but the way they do it in triple, double, and both levels of single A ball is they split the season into two halves. And they have a first half winner and a second half winner. And basically what it is they play out the string of the first half, and then everybody goes back to 0-0 for the second half, and they play out the string for the second half. And the two half winners will then play each other in a divisional playoff, and then that winner will go off to face the winner of the Pacific Coast League. If you're AAA, I don't know, what's the other league in the Texas League? If you're AA, what's the other league in the South Atlantic? Was it the Carolina League? I think in high A. And then in low A down there, it would be the Florida Coast League, and I don't know what else. But you would then go off and play the winner of that, and then that is how you determine your level of minor league championship. So the first half is ended, and now we're into the second half. We'll update you where the Phillies affiliates stand in their quest for playoff glory in 2025. It's not good. I'm going to give you a little sneak peek. It's not good right now, but I'll update you all. I don't think Painter is up until late September. I don't think Painter should be up at all, Steve. Come on, man. But let's head over now to the Broad Street Bottom Line. Broad Street Bottom Line today, sponsored by the It's a Wrap Sports Network and all the fine quality of programming like this one, The Final Word with Matty B, every Sunday through Thursday at 10 p.m. Some might think that's false advertising lately, and I will not disagree with you. It's been a bear to get on the air. I am not going to sit here and deny that. All right, I've tried. It's been tough. But tonight, we will be back. As a matter of fact, I'm on vacation now, folks. I've stepped away from my day job for at least the next week. I'm going to Toronto for a couple days later in the week. Going to watch a Yankees game. I think it's Yankees Blue Jays. I don't know. I'm going to watch the Blue Jays play somebody. But I'm going to Toronto. But I'm no longer working for the next week. So maybe I'll be a little bit more present, or maybe I won't, because it's summer and I deserve some time off. But we will be back more than just, I think I was on the air once or twice last week. I'll be on the air more than that this week. But catch us, The Final Word with Matty B, every Sunday through Thursday at 10 p.m. And also, don't forget about the P&M and the AM every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. here on the network. Big Al, Mike Lauro, and Pat Bernard bringing you quality entertainment if that's what you think. So that is what the Broad Street Bottom Line is brought to you by. And here it is, the Broad Street Bottom Line. It's a common theme with me lately. when it comes to discussing this team. And I've never been good about giving Broad Street bottom lines that are specific to this game. The segment was designed to talk about specifics to the game at hand. I've never been good at that. I always look things holistically, and I always look at this team and these games as pieces to a bigger puzzle. And today was just another one of those pieces. And for me today, it's a common MO. And that common MO actually needs to kind of change. We got very quality, dominant starting pitching, but absolutely no offensive backup. And the Phillies found a way to win. Is that the recipe, though, for success long term? Can the Phillies ride that into October and into the World Series and World Series glory? I don't know if they can. Now, earlier in the week in Houston, apparently one run was too much for this team to overcome. That's levels of ineffectiveness that I don't want to believe that actually exists on this baseball team. That might be the case, but I don't want to believe that. But they rode strong starting pitching, a absent offense, but they did enough, and they won the game today. That has been a common theme of this team in 2025 and predating this game into last season and the season before. But I hope that what we saw in Houston during the week was more of a glitch in the matrix than a snapshot of things to come. Well, there you go. My Broad Street bottom line on this Sunday afternoon. Now let's check out some scores. Yes, sir. We're going to round the bases on this Sunday. First, we're going to start with games that have gone final. It was 7-0 St. Louis all over the Cleveland Guardians. It was the Pirates 12-1 over the Mets. Now stretching the Phillies lead to a game and a half in the NL East. I'm not going to start getting into standings. I don't personally do that. Some guys here do. They get into the standings on day one. I don't officially start talking standings or even looking at them. I ain't going to lie to you. I glance at them. I don't really study them until the All-Star break. Once we hit the All-Star break, it is a regular part of my daily update. I look at the standings because obviously it means something at that point. But right now, the Phillies are back up by a game and a half in the NL East. If you're concerned about something like that in late June, it was 5-1 Baltimore over the Rays in Baltimore. Games that are still currently ongoing. They've reached the 8th inning in the Bronx. It's 12-5 Yankees over the A's. It was 5-3 Blue Jays over the Red Sox today. Or they're in the bottom of the ninth, top of the ninth, that. Padres are up 2-1 over the Reds going into the bottom of the ninth. It is 2-0 Houston over the Cubs going into the 8th. It is also 2-0 Brewers over the Rockies as they move into the 8th. Going into the 5th, it is 2-1 Dodgers over the Royals. Bottom of the 7th, it's 2-1 Giants over the White Sox. Top of the 7th, it is 1-1 Mariners Rangers. And just underway out at the Big A. They call that the Big A. It is 1-0 Angels over the Nationals. Also just underway out in the desert, it is 1-0 Marlins over the Diamondbacks. And tonight on ESPN, you got yourself some Twins Tiger action for those fans of the AL Central. That is your game of the week over ESPN, the 7 o'clock game. And there's your round the bases on this day. Before we get into on the Phillies farm, let's talk about the next series that the Phillies do have to face. The Padres coming in on Monday night. It'll be Zach Wheeler going for the Phillies, and he'll be opposed right now by undecided, as the Padres have yet to announce a starter for that game. The rest of that series in a glance, Nick Pivetta gets the nod for the Padres on Tuesday. He'll be opposed by Sanchez. When did Pivetta end up in San Diego? I thought he was still in Boston. And then on Wednesday afternoon, the BP special at the bank, Dylan Cease versus Mick Abel. So very interesting pitching matchups. And a series that, again, you go in, from the frying pan to the fire situation. This is going to be an interesting series against the Padres. A team that's in the Phillies' wheelhouse of one of the powerhouses of the National League. A team that we may see later on down the line. Good pitching matchups, except for tomorrow's undecided. But it should be an interesting series. And here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network and on the Fighting's Final, don't worry, we got you. Because here is your Fighting's Final series at a glance. Pat Bernardo will be with you tomorrow. Steve Fuentes on Tuesday, and Mike Lara on Wednesday afternoon. As we got you covered for the Padres series. as we got you covered for every series, except for the one game I didn't do last week, which was didn't I have the Astros game that I just not showed up for? Not that I don't show up, man. I didn't get home at like 12:30 that night. I was coming on the air at 1 a.m. to talk about a 1-0 Phillies loss to the Astros. Wasn't doing that. But now it's my favorite time of the week. It's my favorite time for the show of the week, and it's the opportunity we had to go down on the Phillies farm. The It's a Wrap Sports look at the week that was in the Philly minor league system. All levels of Philadelphia Phillies minor league play, starting with the FCL Phillies and going all the way on up to the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs. We take you around the minors. And let's start it as we do every week down there in rookie ball at the Florida Complex League. FCL Phillies, managed by Sean Williams. 1-4 were the FCL Phillies this week. 12-29 so far for the season. The fielder of the week was Francisco Loretta, a catcher, 5 games, 3 hits, 2 runs, a homer, and 2 RBIs, as we do have some catching potential deep down inside the system, as Loretta has been on, Loretto, has been on this list before. This guy's about 95,000 years away from the Phillies, so I'm not really factoring him in anything. Your pitcher of the week, not pictured here because I couldn't find anything on this guy. Angel Lorenza, 1 game, no wins, 5 innings, 2 earned runs, 6 strikeouts, 3 walks, and a 3.00 ERA for the week for him. The FCL or the rookie leagues or the Florida Complex League and the Arizona Complex League, because there's 2 of them, they do not have a first or second half. They have one season that starts in like late May, early June, and then ends in late July. They do have playoffs, but they don't have they just have one half. It's one very short season that they kind of get everything in. So there is no first half or second half champions. It's just one season, and then they have a playoff. Moving on now up to the Jersey Shore, to the Blue Claws. 2-4 for the week. They finished their first half of 2025 at 25-38 and did not qualify as first half champions of their league or the division. Obvious reasons. They second half so far, they are 2-6 in the second half. Your fielder of the week for a second straight week down there in Jersey Shore, Zach Arnold, the young shortstop, 5 games, 6 hits, 3 runs, 2 homers, and 5 RBIs for the week. He was also our fielder of the week last week as well. And the 5th time overall this season, we have talked about Zach Arnold as distinguishing himself as of the week honors. Your pitcher of the week, another repeat customer, not last week, but he's been on this list all season. Alex McFarland, 1 game, no wins, 5 innings pitched, no hits, no earned runs, 9 strikeouts, 2 walks, and a 0.00 ERA. Did not help the Blue Claws out as they were 2-4 on the week. And there you have their records for 2025. Moving on now to High A, back down to Florida. Did I screw this up? Oh, yeah, I did. My bad. So this is High A. Let's go down to Low A. Let's backtrack to Clearwater and the Clearwater Threshers. Your fielder of the week is the much maligned Philly catching prospect Eduardo Tait, making his 5th appearance of the fielder of the week for the Thrashers. 5 games, 3 hits, 2 runs, a homer, and 2 RBIs. Your pitcher of the week, Gabriel Barbosa, 1 game, no wins, 4 innings pitched, 5 hits, 1 earned run, 5 strikeouts, a walk, and a 2.25 ERA. As we kind of mixed them up here. I went to Low A before I went to High A. But on the week, the Threshers were 1-5. They were 36-30 for the first half. Did not win their division in the first half. So far, 2-6 in the second half. So I apologize for that mix-up. But we're back on track now because now we're on the way to Double A into Reading, where Seth Beer, again, he's one of those players that don't qualify as a prospect. He's not. He's journeyman. He's been around the league a while. 4 different teams that he's played for. Had his time in the majors. But he's currently living in Double A, and he's having himself a pretty good time with it. Second time we've talked about him on this segment. He's first baseman, 2 games, 2 hits, and a run, a homer, and 2 RBIs for Beer on the week. And Gene Cabrera, again, another repeat customer this week, back-to-back weeks. 1 game, 1 win, 6 innings pitched, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 6 strikeouts, a walk, and a 3.00 ERA. The Fightins were 3-3 for the week. First half record was 25-42. They are 3-2 so far in the second half. Again, they also did not qualify as first half champions. But I do. Let's backtrack a little bit. So let's talk about Eduardo Tait. I actually believe, because this is sort of coming soon. I would imagine within the next couple weeks Tait's going to get promoted up the Jersey Shore. I really do believe that he's on his way. I think they want to see where I'm not saying they want to accelerate his development, but he's pretty much dominated down there in low A. I think a promotion to Jersey Shore is forthcoming very soon to him. I would be not be surprised to see him get promoted here in the next couple of weeks. Same thing with Gene Cabrera. I definitely see him moving on up to AAA at some point over the next few weeks, as he has also had his stuff pretty dialed in at the AA level. I think it's time to see what he can do at a higher level. So there's some movement, I think, coming in the Philly minor league system with some of these guys as they've somewhat worn out their welcome at their current level, which is always a good thing. Let's finish our week through the Phillies, or our journey through the Phillies minor leagues, with the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs and the most attractive prospect in our system, Justin Crawford. He is your fielder of the week. 5 games, 7 hits, 4 runs, a homer, and 3 RBIs, and was absent from the Iron Pig lineup today. So you take that for what it might be. Andrew Painter, another repeat customer, as he's making his second straight appearance back-to-back weeks for Andrew Painter. A game, no wins, 4 innings pitched, 4 1/3, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 5 strikeouts, a walk, and a 4.15 ERA for Painter, as he earns back-to-back pitcher of the week honors. 4-1 were the Iron Pigs on the week. They were 46-28 on the first half. They did not win their division. No, they lost out by a half a game to the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp. That's right. The Jacksonville freaking Jumbo Shrimp took the first half of the International League Eastern Division, whatever they're in, by a half a game over the Pigs. So the Pigs are still on a quest. They had an amazing first half, Lehigh Valley. And they struggled there. They had kind of back-to-back weeks, a few weeks back, where they struggled. And that was during all the promotions, when Kemp got moved up, when Abel got moved up, when Rangel was going up and down. There was some instability with the Iron Pigs at that time, and it showed on the field as they struggled through about 2 weeks of play. And that cost them the first half championship. I couldn't believe it. I was mesmerized and stunned when I saw that they had fallen out of first place in their division and did not win the first half championship. So their quest to try to get to the playoffs in 2025 is still on. Now, of course, Jacksonville, the affiliate of the Marlins, there's a lot of stability at that AAA team because nobody's moving up. Everyone's being developed. So there's, those players are all there. They're not going anywhere. So they had themselves a really good first half as well. But so far, 4-1 are the Iron Pigs through 5 games of their second half. So their quest continues for a potential playoff spot in 2025. And there you go. That'll end our Down the Phillies Farm segment for this week. And I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed presenting that. If the Phillies can re-sign Ranger long-term, what type of contract would you give him as Luzardo after next season, a free agent? And good lefties are hard to come by. The problem is there, Michael Papernick, have the Phillies overplayed their hand with Ranger Suarez? Much like have they overplayed their hand with Kyle Schwarber? Does Ranger Suarez take the fact that he was given a lame duck season, he went in as a dead man walking in 2025 on a contract year, even though he was solid for this team for a lot of years prior, multiple years prior to 2024? Does he take what happened to him and not been given an extension heading into this season? Does he take that personally and say, you know what, you could offer me the world, the heaven and the earth, the skies all day long. I'm not signing it because screw you. You don't have trust and faith and confidence in me. I'm going to take my talents elsewhere. But if you're asking me, the problem with, and this is a problem that is going to crop up here very soon. I know the season is masking, and it should. We should not be sitting here in June talking about the impending free agency of Ranger, the impending free agency of Jesus Luzardo, the impending free agency of Kyle Schwarber, the impending free agency of JT Realmuto. We shouldn't be talking about those things, but they are looming down the road. And this team could look a lot different in 2026 than it is now. Now, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying it's a possible reality. But as far as what type of contract, it's not the matter of the contract that I would offer. It's the contract that he's going to want. He's going to want what he thinks he's owed and what he thinks he deserves, 7, maybe 8 years, something in those lines of a long-term committed deal that he can put down roots in Philadelphia and say, I'm a Philly forever. And that's going to take, that's going to be probably the standard MO for him, even when he's looking outwards to other teams. So, but I think we're getting way ahead of ourselves when it comes to that, because I don't think he's going to take a contract from the Phillies. I'm telling you, I feel as if he's pissed off, as Schwarber might feel as well, and they're going to take their talents elsewhere. So I think it might be a moot point, but a 7-8 year deal is probably what he's going to want. Now, whether or not I want to give him that, and whether or not Dave Dombrowski should give him that, with all the obvious other needs on this team and a young staple of pitching waiting in the wings, Andrew Painter, Mick Abel. We've talked about a lot of these guys. Listen, that's why I'm patient when it comes to Painter. Painter's day will come sooner than later. Trust me, it'll be here soon. His day will come. The need for him will be here very soon. I don't think it's quite yet, but it's coming very soon. Mick Abel, these are first-round draft picks. These are former first-round picks. Abel wasn't a seventh-round pick, that throw-in pick from Jesuit High School. No, he was a first-round, 20th? What 2020? I don't know. Somewhere in the teens, I think he was, when they took him during the COVID year. They didn't draft Mick Abel just to draft him. They drafted him with ideas that he's going to be part of the rotation at some point, and his time has seemingly come. Andrew Painter was a first-round draft pick. So we have reached that peak. We have reached the pinnacle here. For all you, and I am one of them, that are calling for the Phillies to start throwing up some of these players, giving them major league experience, time to get them in the fire, and hope to God it works. Well, that time is here. Well, not here yet, but it's coming very soon. So I don't even know if I would give Suarez a contract. But the problem is, my hands are tied when trading him as well, because I'm not trading him to the Rockies. I'm not trading him to the Pirates. Well, maybe I can trade him to the Pirates. I don't know, depending on how they come on down the stretch. But I'm not trading him to the White Sox. They're not going to take him because they're not no need for a rental player for the next 2.5 months. I got to trade Ranger Suarez to a contender, a team that needs to solidify their starting rotation. And God forbid you trade him to a team that you eventually have to play. So it's a really interesting conundrum when it comes to Ranger this season. More than likely, he's going to walk at the end of the year, and we're going to get nothing in return. That might be what the reality of the Ranger Suarez situation is. And again, a lot of people are out there saying, trade Ranger. Well, it's not as simple as that. Who are you trading him to? The Dodgers would probably take him off our hands. The Mets would absolutely take him off our hands, probably for a decent return, but you're not trading him in division. And you're going to have a hard time wanting to trade him inside the National League. So you're limited to what you can do with Ranger. Is the best option to try to re-sign him long-term? Yeah, I don't know if they can. And I don't know if he wants to. So the Phillies might have overplayed their hand with Ranger Suarez. Same thing with Kyle Schwarber. They might have overplayed their hand. I don't know. But your options are not as simple as trade Ranger. Yeah, okay, where are we trading him to? Let's trade him to the White Sox for 2.5 months, and they're going to give us back 19 prospects. No, they're not going to do that. So I don't know. It's a very interesting situation. And as far as Jesus Luzardo goes, I'm very concerned about him too. Very concerned. It's been up and down with this guy for the last month. What happened to that lockdown guy we had back in April? I want him back. I trade Nola. Again, good luck, Michael Papernick. Trying to trade an aging pitcher who just signed a big contract. It was 8-year deal, 7-year deal. Whose velocity is down about 3 miles an hour. I don't think that's as easy as possible either. So, the Mick Abel, Andrew Painter days, Gene Cabrera, or maybe a little bit later on down the line. But those pitchers, their time is coming, man. It's coming quick. And by necessity, not by want, but by necessity. All right, that's going to wrap me up. Phillies win 2-1 today. Again, this was a win. It didn't sound like it. Phillies win 2-1. Offense still continues to struggle. Pitching continues to be dominant. It's been the MO lately of this team. All season long, basically. But don't forget, I'll be back tonight, 10 o'clock, with the final word. So make sure you're back. We'll continue the Phillies conversation. We also have Flyers draft recap. Some people thought it was crap, but recap action as well. We'll talk Flyers draft tonight at 10 and anything else is on the table. And then tomorrow we got you covered for the Titans final against the Padres and all the other great stuff that's coming up this week on the program. Again, Thursday nights at 9, the attacking third, Fridays at 10:30, the wraparound, and Sundays at 9, the PNM and the AM program. So make sure you keep it tuned here to It's a Wrap Sports for the latest and greatest stuff that you expect and you deserve, and we try to provide. I can see Ranger with the Reds. That would be a good spot for him. Interesting. That might not be a bad idea. But again, do you risk, Dave? Do you risk it that you might see the Reds at some point in the postseason? But it's a risk that you might have to take. But that's interesting. I didn't even consider the Reds. That's an interesting spot. Very interesting spot for Ranger. Yeah, very good. Good point, Dave. And now you got me thinking. Good show. Thank you, Michael Papernick, and thank you everybody else for tuning in. Remember, I'll be back tonight at 10 o'clock. Make sure you're here and bring anything to the table. Phone lines will be open tonight, by the way. Phone lines are now part of the the final word, as we will open up phone lines for the final word from this point forward. So make sure you come at me with anything you got. So we'll be talking again tonight. Phillies win 2-1. Take the series from the Braves. One more person's got to talk to me before I can go, and you know who that is, Harry the K. What you got?
He had high hopes. He had high hopes. He had high apple pie in the sky.